Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good this Friday. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, make sure you do hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that at the top of the chat and also in the description below. Don't want to miss out on that. Can join the community, chat with other traders, including myself. I share ideas there. If you're looking to see that, you will find that there. And of course, you can find out a bit more about Elevating Traders, the firm, as well. So if you are looking to join, make sure you go ahead and do that. Link to that in the description and also at the top of the chat. But guys, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. Tony Gold, what is up? Gideon, welcome to the stream. Tony Gold, Aussie CAD. Yes, we'll take a look. No problem. CS Integrated, hope you're doing well. Yes, it is NFP today. Scary, scary times. Ahmed, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Good morning. Shadrach, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Yes, of course, we'll see a lot of noise today. Should do it. Although sometimes you can get some very stale NFPs, but the theme of this year so far has been a bit of movement. So hopefully that does continue. What's up, Tashi? Good morning. Hope you are doing well. So as always, we'll start with the USD pairs. I will take a look at Aussie CAD and other requests as well. Yeah, dollar's going to be the main focus because, of course, it's a big day today in terms of news release, NFP. I know my bias coming into NFP, which is very bullish. If we do see a bit of a drop for NFP, as long as it doesn't take out any major structure, I still remain bullish for the dollar. So overall, if I do expand to the higher time frames, as I keep mentioning, we've still seen a very successful breakout of this weekly range, which keeps me bullish until proven otherwise, such as the weekly chart was to bleed back inside the range and close below. I'll hold my hands up and reanalyze from there. But at the moment, still very confident breakout. And my goal or target, let's say, not really goal, but target for dollar is still to continue this uptrend, potentially back to the highs up there at 113. So taking that into consideration for the lower time frames, we are looking a little bit stale. Prices coming into an area of resistance and starting to slow down a little bit. Maybe NFP today just goes and breaks through that. That's a real possibility. Or maybe NFP does give us a bit of a move to the downside. We have another retracement, maybe come back into lows again. There's still this area down here, which possibly could still get a retest. I've been going on about that area past couple of weeks. Haven't seen that happen yet. Again, if it was to have a big push down and test that level, I think it still looks like a great level to be looking to long, of course, with confirmations, not just jumping straight in. But yeah, in terms of my bias for dollar, it's still very bullish. However, I'm not really looking to buy USD right now. You can see we're coming to resistance. So if anything, I want price to actually push down off the back of NFP to give us more opportunities to find some high lows to buy back in, or potentially be bullish, break the high, and then we look for the next pullback afterwards. Either which way, I can't be looking to buy directly into resistance, especially as a swing bias on the lower time frames. Of course, you're looking for smaller targets. You can look to work with that, but me, myself, and I will struggle to get entries in the 4-hour chart into that area there. So it's either we break through and we look for some pullbacks afterwards, or price has that deeper pullback. Either which way, it presents an opportunity for myself. So USD bias is bullish. In terms of NFP, it's a guessing game. Maybe it's bullish, maybe it's bearish. We'll find out when it happens. All I know is that I'm looking for opportunities that favor more upside. So whenever they present themselves, I'll make sure I'm there to take them. So going into Euro USD, not much since we last spoke. The market's been pretty flat. Overall, just kind of just seeing consolidation in this area here. And that might persist until NFP, to be honest. A few people did mention on the stream yesterday that we might consolidate, might be a bit sideways until NFP. And that has been the reality with the dollar, with Euro USD since we last spoke. Market hasn't really gone anywhere. Again, with Euro, I know my bias. I'm expecting more downside. I'm expecting these lows to be taken out eventually. At the start of the week, I was looking for a push back into this area. Unfortunately, it didn't quite happen. I was kind of looking for something like this. First push there, pull back, second push, and then hopefully the continuation. to continue these lower highs. One over there, lower low, next lower high, of course, next lower low. Same price action on the weekly chart as the dollar as well. Very confident break to the downside outside of this range here. So as long as that is still at play and we're still staying below that level of support, which of course will be now acting as resistance, as long as we can stay below that, I do expect to see a lot more downside there for euro and of course upside for USD. So that is why I'm looking for those lower highs from a higher time frame perspective. But of course, the 4 hour chart is also bearish as well. So I'm looking for the entries. Again, nothing really to do down at these parts from my bias and where I look to enter my trades. I still do like that area just above us where we're trading. I mentioned this a few times yesterday that we could have seen price tap into that before continuing. Maybe we're waiting for NFP to give us that move before a push down. So I'll probably watch out for that. But again, I wouldn't take any entries until after NFP anyway. If you're not already in a trade now, if you look to enter now, you've got what, 3.5 hours before, even less than that, before the news does come out. So you have to ask yourself, is my trade going to hit TP in that time? If not, then you're probably just going to be sitting in a trade for NFP. And if you have a really tight stop loss, you have to watch out for spread widening, slippage, and things can go badly there. But yeah, wait until after NFP, dust will settle. You can look for a clearer bias of what you want to do and then take opportunities in that regard. I'm still looking for this move. Again, will it happen? I have no idea. But if it does happen, I'll be there waiting. So if USD does become very weak after NFP, let's say, maybe we do get that extended pullback, and I'll keep an eye for some shorts around 1.04795. And then, of course, the targets is for a push back down into the low. In terms of pound USD, same situation, looking for pullbacks and more downside. This one's taking out some major lows on the daily chart, weekly chart as well, which is this low here this week. We broke through that like it was nothing. So yeah, now I want to see a bit of a pullback now for pound USD. Still very bearish, still seeing lower lows and lower highs, but since we've taken out a major low like that, I do want the market to have a bit of a breather. I don't want to be looking to constantly short into that, because I know that after we do take out these major daily, weekly lows, it does tend to give us that bigger pullback. So I have to be a bit, have to be patient and wary of that. This is still our last major lower high. So technically speaking, pound USD could go through a pullback, something like this, and still give us that lower high to continue. So I have to be a bit wary of that. But yeah, at least I pull back into this area before I start considering some shorts again. And we'll see what we do. I was expecting it to hold the first time, but we just got price breaking above, breaking back below. So if we can come back, retest that level again, that'll be great. And hopefully from there, we can catch some nice shorts and some continuations. And if we have a deeper pullback, as I spoke about at the start of the week, there are some areas up here which do look good as well for some shorts. So 1.26 roughly area. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with pound USD euro. Still more downsides. Of course, dollar CAD, same situation really. Still looking at more upside. Just nowhere near my entry level. This is the level which I said I was looking to buy from, which is 1.415. And of course, looking to take it back to the highs and so on and so forth. I still do have much longer term targets for dollar CAD, 1.46, 1.47, back at the highs here. So that's why I'm very bullish on dollar CAD. Of course, my USD bias does play into that, but dollar CAD itself is looking extremely bullish at the moment. Excuse me. USD CAD is looking extremely bullish at the moment. And of course, with that USD strength, that does help things out. So it's either we get that bigger pullback back into 1.416, we'll call it, or price just goes and breaks the high and looks for some retest afterwards. So it's up to dollar CAD how it wants to play it. If USD is bullish from NFP, we might just go and break the high today. And then next week, we can start to discuss some pullbacks and retest of those levels. If USD is bearish today and we get a really big drop, then we could start talking about this area here. So yeah, we'll wait for NFP to dictate what we're going to do today. I know my bias is still looking for the buys. So even if it is bearish, it just means I'm expecting bigger pullbacks necessarily before we do continue. Aussie dollar still looking pretty bearish. Have we taken out that daily swing low yet? Daily, weekly swing low? Not quite yet, but it's right at its. It's in touch and distance right now. So I do expect us to go and take out that low pretty soon there with Aussie dollar. I've talked about some bigger retracements for Aussie dollar. Unfortunately, they haven't really come into fruition. I said I was looking for some pullbacks up into these areas, but I haven't really got price trading there, unfortunately. It's just been way too bearish. And that has kind of been the story of Aussie dollar for the past couple of months. We've seen some frequent pullbacks, but very shallow pullbacks. And market sees a bit of upside and sells off really aggressively. And that has been a theme for quite a while. But once we do take up this weekly low, I do expect to see that bigger pullback because the market is a little bit stretched. It's a bit overextended. And, in FX, we don't tend to move in straight lines forever, especially when we're coming into major lows like that. We do tend to bounce, whether we're going to bounce directly on the level or break through it a little bit, then react. There's a good chance we do see some upside at some point. I still think the bigger move is to the downside. I'm still long-term bearish, but that bigger pullback is more and more likely now. And a similar situation with New Zealand dollar, except we're not quite at the lows just yet. So we've got the low down here, which I'm still expecting price to get to. We've taken out some major lows on the left here. So I do expect a bigger pullback at some point now with New Zealand dollar. But yeah, just no opportunity just yet as price keeps falling. I did speak about these areas for some shorts, but price is just remaining very bearish at the moment in time. So no opportunities there with New Zealand dollar. And again, for all I know, we could just keep falling to the downside and go and eventually take out the lows at 0.551. So if we can get that bigger pullback, for some reason, maybe NFP does give us a bearish USD. Maybe we do see that bigger pullback. And then next week, we can start speaking about some shorts. If not, we might just keep falling. And yeah, there won't be a trade there for me. In terms of gold and silver, so gold's still been pretty bullish. Last time I looked at it, yes, still slowly pushing to the upside, breaking resistance after resistance here. So with gold, I've talked about this range, equal highs over there, equal lows down here, and I've said the market is just pretty much just bouncing between these levels here. And at this moment in time, it looks like price is probably going to push back to the upper level at 27.19. And we could see a nice sell opportunity there as well. I wouldn't necessarily be looking to try and stretch that trade too far in terms of, okay, if we get to that level, I'm not necessarily expecting a swing all the way back down to the low, but there's a good chance we do get a reaction there. And if price is going to break this to the upside, then of course the next big level is the all-time high, which is this level on the left, 27.88. So I'm very bullish on gold overall, longer term. If I expand to the weekly chart, kind of remove all the lower time frame noise, you can see what the market is doing. It's looking extremely bullish. Yes, we did have a bit of a drop there with those 2 weekly candles, but hasn't really changed much in the grand scheme of things. So gold to me still looking very bullish, still expecting more upside. However, don't really see a good opportunity to buy it just yet. Maybe if we come back to the lows, I still do really like this low down here, but overall not looking particularly great right now. In terms of silver, which I still like, but again, still very, still nothing there for me in terms of entries. There was a nice little bottom back down here. Since then, the market is kind of consolidating off the break of that high. So I'm kind of waiting for the higher lows to print in, and then I'll look for a higher low to get involved with, looking for a break and retest somewhere, and hopefully find some longs to take it back into the high and back into the swing high all the way up there, 34.8. I was about to say gold's price there, back into the high over there. So that's overall what I would be looking for for gold, silver, USD markets as well. Very, very bullish on USD, but I just have to wait patiently for these setups to occur. But it won't be anything till after NFP anyway, so it's going to see what happens with that. I will go through Aussie CAD. That was requested earlier for Tony Gold, so I will go through that one. If anyone has any requests, let me know in the chat and I will get to it. Good morning, Rick. Welcome to the stream. I don't know if I said hello. Welcome. Ahmed, GJ, Pound CAD. Yes, we'll go through those pairs. No problemo. Good morning, Dark Sean. Welcome to the stream. 5-minute GJ. Okay, we'll take a look. Nice. Got entry at 8:30. 70 pip target achieved. Nice. Double your profits. Okay, looking to get back into the market there. Yeah, I will go take a look at GJ. I haven't actually been looking at GJ much. It's not really on my watch list, so I haven't really checked it since last stream, but we'll go through it. Shadrach, Euro NZD longs. Okay, we'll take a look at that as well. SLFX 2020, what is up? Considered a good overall RR for the month. It really does depend on the trader, but it depends what R you're risking as well, because some are risking 2% per R or 3-4% per R. You know, is going to have different goals for R at the end of the month. So I would say anything between 2 to 5 is great going, but it really depends how much risk you're taking, you know, per trade. If you're risking 0.5% or you're risking 3%, you're going to have very, very different results. So it depends what the risk you're taking, but I would say 2 to 5 is very, very healthy in like a general sense. Excuse me, that was a bit loud, my bad. Ben, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I know BTC had a bit of a bounce. Okay, yeah. Tough day for BTC yesterday. Trading major support now. Yeah, Bitcoin was a bit bearish yesterday, but it looks like it's having a bit of a bounce this morning. We'll go through some pairs requests that will take a look at Bitcoin and GJ as well. But yeah, it's still at major support. So as long as it does hold that support, I still remain bullish on Bitcoin. But yeah, it is. If it does break, it's not looking good. Okay, let me go through Aussie CAD. Tony Gold did request this one. So yeah, Aussie CAD, this one's still correctively falling to the downside here. Again, with Aussie CAD, New Zealand CAD, overall, I'm still pretty bearish with these guys. I do think the bigger move is to the downside. And I think Aussie CAD's actually got a long way to go. I'm actually looking for a push all the way back down to the lows here at 0.5970. So I do still see a lot of downside for Aussie CAD. We haven't taken out any major lows yet, which is what we've done with Aussie CAD, which is why I like it a little bit more. But overall, it does look like Aussie CAD is slowly working its way back down to those lows. And being very, very consistent with the lower highs. As you can see, if I map them in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you could argue 7 here. I mean, it hasn't really taken out the lows, but we're still seeing consistent lower highs in the market. I did reference a short opportunity if we're to have a slightly bigger pullback. Let's make sure we can see that. There we go. I did talk about this area this week. Just missed out on that. We started off pretty bullish, but didn't quite see the pullback enough to get there. Who knows? Maybe price does still make that move to the up end of the channel, where again shorts do look good. Maybe NFP could be the catalyst for that. But yeah, I do still see more downside for Aussie CAD. So expecting more downside. In terms of opportunities, I would wait for a bigger push to form that next major lower high. And I do still see this one pushing a lot further to the downside, taking out these lows, coming back to these areas, and eventually this low down here. But we can save that discussion for another time. If we do get pulled back to here, then the next logical target will be back at the low. So that's really what the focus would be. But yeah, very consistent bearish channel here, consistent lower highs. As long as we don't go and break structures suddenly, like this, I do expect us to keep falling. So that is my expectation there with Aussie CAD. I'll go through New Zealand CAD and the other CAD pairs shortly as well. Okay, yeah, I haven't actually looked at the hourly chart though. I had a look at the daily and I saw we were up at the day. I haven't looked at the lower time frame, so I'll go take a look. But overall, it's not looking that great for Bitcoin, even if we do bounce at that level of support. Overall, it's very corrective at that area, which is not great. You want to see more evidence of bullish momentum. Of course, pullbacks are a natural occurrence, but there's healthier looking pullbacks than what Bitcoin is doing right now. So overall, not looking too great, but hey, still holding support. It's been at that same support level for a few weeks now, I think. So it is a pretty strong level, and we'll see if it does hold. But I'll go take a look at it shortly. As what is up, yes, Euro Yen we'll take a look at as well. Yes, 2 to 5 hours is pretty good going. Okay, so if I can, okay, GJ and pound CAD, and I'll take a look at GJ on the 5 minute as well for Darkishon. So yeah, pound CAD, not much yesterday. I mean, we were very bearish the day before. Was that Wednesday? No, that was Thursday actually. Bearish yesterday. Past 24 hours, we've been a little bit sideways, still in the same place as we last spoke yesterday. So with pound CAD, again, the overall market structure is still bullish despite this massive sell-off. There are signs that we are slowing down, which is the equal highs here. The market's failing to break the resistance on 3 occasions now. One over there, second over there, third over there. Not a healthy sign of a market which is trying to continue, or it is trying to continue, but successfully continuing. So the fact is we're still aggressively selling off from resistance. Maybe this is a trend that's about to reverse. We've had a very long standing bullish trend for pound CAD. Maybe it has found its top and maybe we are going to reverse. But with me, I always focus on market structure, lows, highs. I need them to break or respect for me to maintain or change a bias. So for me to consider this trend over, I need this low here to be taken out. Reason being is that this low gave us that high. And this is still in a bullish area where price could theoretically put another higher low in and push the upside. So it's not a bad place for a buy down there. I think if you're on the lower time frames, you're looking for shorts. I think you want to see a deeper pullback. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low and make sure we can see that. There we go. If we whip out the fib from the high to the low, I would suggest at least the pullback into this area here will look good for some shorts, and at least the swing back to the low. Again, the idea is that, okay, the trend is still very much up on the daily chart. So even though we do get into shorts, we are being a little bit careful because we know that the trend could continue at any point. So if you do get into some shorts, targets back to the low make the most sense. Maybe you start finding support again and turning around. So you kind of, you out the trade before that happens. We spoke about this when we talked about the shorts over here. It was a nice move, but I said, be careful at that low because we could turn around. Of course, in hindsight, we absolutely broke through it, but we weren't to know that. I still think this is a great place for a short. The market's been pretty consistent with the lower highs on the 4-hour chart. 1, 2, 3. Expecting a fourth one there. But still, as we approach these lows, I'll be careful just in case we do turn around. Should we have a big meltdown again and break the low, then of course at that point I do expect a bigger sell. Probably will have a bigger pullback though, but probably have a bigger sell to the downside and that complete reversal. So until that low breaks at 1.75, I'm not going to expect a big bearish move just yet. But for now, I do like the structure in the 4-hour chart. Pretty bearish, healthily bearish as well because of the size of the candles, the way we're breaking the lows very aggressively. So it's a good sign that we can probably expect more downside. But yeah, first, do we need to see a bit of a pullback there? In terms of pound JPY, this did break structure yesterday, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, it was teasing with the idea of breaking structure. I said I wanted to see a strong kind of close below. yeah, we didn't really get that, just about, but nothing really entirely convincing. So yeah, with pound yen, again, I'm still long-term bearish. I'm still looking for a lot more downside with pound yen. The idea was to look for some shorts back at the high, but it doesn't look like that's happening anymore. It looks like we might be topping out a little bit earlier than expected, ahead of schedule, and we might do something like this back to lows and so on and so forth. At the moment, we're still kind of trading at support, so this is definitely not an area to be looking to short. Yeah, this is still bullish territory, at least in the 4-hour chart anyway. So again, if you're looking for selling opportunities, I would wait for a much bigger pullback for pound yen, because we did form the equal highs over there, which is a nice sign that we're running out of steam in terms of the buyers anyway. And now we put a lower high in, another drop. So in terms of the shorts, we could probably expect another lower high somewhere, but first we would want to see a bigger pullback. And this is definitely where buyers are sitting. We've seen a lot of evidence here of strength in the buyers as well, and we could see that happen again. So if you're looking at opportunities right now for pound yen, I think this is not a bad place for a buy, but equally, I wouldn't look to hold that trade for too long, because we are starting to break through lows now. We're putting lower highs. So I'm no longer confident that pound yen's going to shoot back to 199.500. Realistically, we might just get a push for another lower high and then the drop. So you're kind of more trading a pullback rather than a continuation if you are looking at longs in that area. But then equally, keep an eye out for the shorts. They look good as well. Anyway, let me drop to the 5-minute chart. See what's cooking over there. Okay, so we had a pretty aggressive sell. I mean, we could probably still see another sell, to be honest. At least on the 5-minute chart, we had a solid level of resistance there. Price tried to break through a few times, failed, ended up breaking structure. Haven't quite got back to these lows yet. Maybe we do see price push on some more, put another lower high in, and have another drop as well. So that's what could be cooking up there for pound yen. Dark Sean, let me know what you're looking at on the 5-minute chart as well. I'm interested to find out. But yeah, overall to me, pound yen does look like it's got some more mileage, at least on the shorter time frames, for another drop there. But yeah, because of the 4-hour chart, we are still trading at heavy support. So I do think eventually probably will have a bigger push. But the short-term move could be some sells before some bigger buys happen. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, that 0.5, 0.618 area would be a healthy place for a pullback into before some more downside. So yeah, that's really what I'm looking at for pound yen. I'll go take a look at Euro NZD, and then I'll take a look at Bitcoin. Then we'll just go through the yen pairs in their entirety. I don't think we looked at CHFJY yesterday, so we'll take a look at that. We'll go through the yen basket as well, see what's happening there. What's up, Manzondi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. And what is up? What's that? USO USD? I'm not sure what that is. USO USD. Yeah, I've never looked at that. But sure, I guess. If that's not a typo. Okay, so we'll go through Euro NZD. I'll take a look at Bitcoin, then we'll go through the yen pairs. So yeah, Euro NZD looking pretty bullish. Someone said they're in a buy. Yeah, Shadrach still currently in some longs from 1.83389. 1.83389. So that's somewhere around here. Looking good, looking good. Is the targets back at the high, I presume? So back at 1.85350. I presume. Okay, so we'll take a look at this on the daily chart, because we're still trading resistance, and that's why I didn't like the position, because we're buying into resistance there, which is of course a big no-no for me anyway. So looks like we are seeing some momentum. I think Euro is a little bit strong today, or actually no, New Zealand and Aussie a little bit weak, I think. I don't think Euro is necessarily very strong, but we are seeing a bit of a push to the upside there. and we are looking pretty bullish. This is still major resistance, so I'll still be very careful. The fact that we could still see some downside at any point, really. But yeah, momentum is picking up. We're still seeing high lows on the lower time frame. So if we can continue this, then there's a good chance we could push back to the highs there as well. Maybe from there we do sell off as well. So overall, it's still very bearish territory we're trading in here. So I'd always be careful in terms of the buys. Momentum looks good, but we very much could see a big bearish candle out of nowhere very, very quickly as well. So I would be careful from that respect. But yeah, looking good. Lower time frames, I would imagine. Still seeing higher highs and higher lows. So if that can persist, then you should be looking good as long as we don't take out a low. That would be a really big red flag. But yeah, still major resistance. So I would still be very careful of this. If we can break through, then there's a good chance we can probably push to that wick high there and maybe beyond as well. Oh, USO is oil. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at oil and no problem. Okay, so I'll go through BTC. We'll take a look at oil and we'll go through the yen pairs as well. Dark Sean. Okay, looking for another drop as well. Unless it starts going for liquidity sitting between 196, 197. Okay, you did mention that yesterday. Yeah, I think that bigger pullback will happen at some point. Of course, no idea when. We're not fortune tellers, but on the 5-minute chart at least, it does look pretty bearish still. If it starts taking out that high, then yeah, maybe we are going to push to 196. BTC, what is cooking up here? So yeah, Bitcoin, yeah, that's what I saw in the daily chart. I haven't looked at the lower time frames yet with Bitcoin, but I was looking in the daily chart just before the stream, and yeah, price is still dancing on that level of support. So it's a support level which is held since the 4th of December. So it's been over a month now. We've kept testing the same area, wick after wick, candle after candle. And the market has done a pretty good job at holding on to support. 4 hours seeing some momentum, hourly chart seeing some momentum as well. Maybe not the most impulsive, and that's probably what you were mentioning before, Ben, with these very small candlesticks. It's not like we saw a massive bullish candle there on the hourly chart. It's kind of like a bunch of very small candles that's creating the momentum. So who knows? I think NFP is going to cause a bit of noise with Bitcoin as well. So that's definitely one to watch out for. But from a technical standpoint, as long as this level holds, I would still retain that bullish bias with Bitcoin, looking for another push back to the high and maybe higher as well. If we do break through that support level, then the next viable level that looks good would be back down here at 73, 74K. So yeah, Bitcoin's got a long way to drop if it doesn't respect that area in my book anyway. So yeah, very, very important level. I think if you're still looking for longs, it's still a great area because you can really refine your risk there. Say you look for an entry like this, stop loss below. You can look for a push back to the high with still a healthy risk reward. And of course, the idea with Bitcoin is you don't know how far this guy could go. We could push all the way to 130K and you could be looking at a massive, massive return there on that trade. Of course, the idea is that you're looking to trail stops. I would really strongly against using TPs with Bitcoin and Ethereum and most of the major cryptos and cryptos in general, because you just don't know how big the next move could be. Of course, FX is a bit more neutral. So TPs can be effective, trading stops can be effective as well. But I think in the long run, if you take 100 trades with Bitcoin, at least 10 of them are going to be some big winners. Okay, so we're going to go through oil for Ant. Julius, yes, okay, whilst we're on Bitcoin as well, we'll touch on Ethereum. So Ethereum is, Ethereum I don't like either, to be honest. We've had a really big drop the past couple of days, and I still do see more downside for Ethereum. I'm looking for a push back down to this area here, which is at 2,900. That's really the level which I do see Ethereum pushing towards. The reason I say that is because we had such a strong rejection back at the high here at 4K. Big double top there on the lower charts, really aggressive reaction. And now it looks like we're printing in lower highs as well since that's happened. So this is not the sign of a very confident market that's trending bullish, more of a sign of a market that's about to see more downside. So yes, Ethereum looks like it is bouncing at support there a little bit, but it doesn't give me much confidence that this bounce will turn into a humongous reversal. In terms of probability, more likely just a bounce to eventually go and break through. But then as we do approach this level, we could definitely see a big bounce from this area. We've seen a lot of evidence of buyers really doing well at this level, so there's a good chance we could do the same again. So if you're looking for longs from a swing perspective on Ethereum, 2900 would be the place for that. Current support looks okay. Yes, we're seeing a bit of a bounce, but I do think we'll probably break through. It's not really at any critical place, significant place, so I don't see a really meaningful move from this area. So yeah, Ethereum, keep an eye on 2900. I think that's the place to be looking to buy from. In terms of oil, yeah, oil's looking very bullish at the moment, isn't it? Very strong move to the upside. Did we get the break retest of that level? I don't think we did. No, not quite. We just missed out on that. I was speaking about the retest of this zone yesterday. Unfortunately, didn't quite see price come back and retest that level. It's looking really, really bullish at the moment, and we're probably going to keep pushing back to that trend line, which we were talking about yesterday. So if I connect the major highs there, you've got one over there, you've got a second one over there, third one over there, and looks like we're going to get that fourth. I was speaking about this resistance level as well as a nice place to short from, which of course lines up the trend line as well. If I connect to the wick highs there too, so if you were to push a little bit higher up, tap into 78, I think that looks like a great place to short from. Stops above the high. Risk reward looks really good. Say if you get an entry here, stops above the high around there somewhere, you could look to swing it all the way back down here. And if you look at the risk multiples, you're probably looking at 1 to 4, 1 to 5, back down to lows. So I like this shorts for oil. The risk reward looks good. The overall opportunity looks good as well. If you're going to keep up these lower highs, that is the place to do it. And of course, if price does go and break through that, that's a sign that, okay, maybe we might reverse now. So until we get something like that, if we get something like that, I will be bullish. But at the moment, still bearish for oil, looking for a push from 78 back down again. Happy to help, Julius, no problem. Okay, so I'll go through the yen pairs. A few people have asked for euro yen. I'll start with that one. We just had a look at pound yen a minute ago. So we'll start with euro yen. So with euro yen, I'm still overall bearish, still looking for a push back down to this support level, which is at 155. That's still the level which I'm looking for a big move down. Now, I've talked about the sells from this area, and that's still the area which I want to take my shorts from, which is 156.759. That's still the level which I want to get involved with, take some shorts. But will we get there? I have no idea. Again, as I always say, trading is a waiting game, and it's a difficult waiting game because you're waiting for opportunities which you don't know are going to arise. Of course, if you test your strategy well enough, you know how many trades you should be getting in a given period of time, month, quarter, year. So you know that, okay, if I take my opportunities, it's enough to get the results I want. However, in terms of exact individual trading opportunities, whether price will get to your level for a trade, you just don't know if it's going to happen or not, which is where a lot of fear of missing out comes from, and a lot of just kind of deviating from your plan. But with trading, you got to focus on the opportunities you've tested. If you've got a solid plan based on rules, then you got to wait for those to come into play, and that's exactly what I have to do with this euro yen position. If it's going to get to that level, great, I'll look for opportunities. If not, then I'm going to have to adapt. If price starts breaking through some lows, This is the low which gave us that high. So if price does start breaking through some structure, then I'll start looking to shift my bias. Well, the bias will still be the same, it'll still be bearish. But instead of looking for sells up there, I'll probably be looking for another lower high in this sequence. So you got one over there, a second over there, and this will become your third. And of course, I'll be looking for the drop back into the low. So Euro Yen, the current structure is bullish, but I'm not looking to buy. I'm looking for the sells. Either we go and break the lows here, like pound yen's doing, and we form something like this, and I look for a lower high there, or we keep pushing to the upside, back to the major high. I'll look for my shorts up there, and hopefully swing it to the downside. But you can see, either which way, I'm looking to sell this thing. So just got to stay patient for that. And depending on what we do in the next kind of week or so, I'll know which setup I'm looking at. Whether price is breaking through the highs, okay, 166.5 is my area of interest. Or if price does collapse like pound yen did, then I'm looking for pullbacks into 162, 161, 500 for continuations back into the low. That's really how I see pound yen playing out over the next kind of month, really. In terms of the buys, I don't really see any good buy opportunities. We talked about some buys last week from this area, but that ship is sailed now. We've had the reaction, we've had a push. Yeah, unless price comes back to retest it again, then yeah, there might be some more buys. But right now we're trading in the middle of nowhere. No real significance in that price action. In terms of CAD Yen, it's a similar story with this one with euro and pound. Still looking for the big sells. And again, that is my area of interest, 111.514. This is where I'm looking to see if I can get some shorts in. At the moment, CAD Yen's doing a pretty good job at keeping this bullish structure alive. Still seeing these higher highs and higher lows. They originally had a nice double bottom down there. Broke that to the upside, higher high, higher low, higher high there. Higher low, another higher high, and looks like we're putting another higher low in. So overall, for CAD Yen, we did kind of dip below that level. But overall for CAD Yen, if we can get back above 109,800, I think that's a decent little buy. At least back to the high here. I know the risk reward isn't looking particularly great, but if you can get it to that high, you can book some profits. And maybe if we do break through, you can leave some to run back to the high there as well. But yeah, for CAD Yen, I would be pretty bullish on this one short term. Like I said, with Euro Yen as well, the bigger move for me is still likely to the downside. So this is really what I'm eyeing up with CAD Yen. As I keep talking about on the high time frames, a lovely impulse to the downside there in July. Looking at this as the correction of that move for, again, a big continuation to the downside. That is still the main plan. I had some shorts about a month ago over here. Hopefully I can find re-entries in the exact same area, and hopefully this could be the big move that really gets the ball rolling. So yeah, that's kind of really what I'm eyeing up there for CAD Yen. And in the meantime, if we do get back above that level, which looks like price is trying to do, could be some buys in the short term there. In terms of dollar yen, I'm pretty bullish on dollar yen. This is the only yen pair which I'm looking for a big swing to the upside. If price can keep pushing there, I would be looking for some entries with this one. But at the moment, it's still kind of just consolidating slightly upwards. I'm still looking to see if I can get pushed back to the high here, which is 161,800. I'm looking for a pullback into this area here with USD JPY. If we can retest that area, that would be absolutely magnificent. I got the 0.5 running through the level there as well. So I'm looking for a deeper pullback, retest this area, put the next higher low in, then hopefully I can swing it to the upside. These are the major higher lows I'm looking to catch. And that's the pullback I'm looking for. I did speak on the retest of this high here, which is not looking too good at the moment. I mean, it looks like it is retesting just about. It's kind of similar to CAD Yen in terms of the retest, but overall not looking really attractive. As I keep saying with my break and retest, I like to see big breakouts of levels, then wait for price to have that corrective pullback afterwards. I don't like it when price just about breaks the high and then looks for the retest. I don't really have good results with that. I much rather take the bigger breakouts because they're less likely to be a fake out. So when they do retest, I do have that more or extra confidence that we are likely to bounce at the level. Again, nothing's perfect. There are times where we do have big breakouts and they turn into be pretty big fake outs as well. And in fact, when we do see them, actually, they're really nice patterns as well. But at least I can be a bit more confident in the buy there. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at for dollar yen, and overall target still back at the high there. In terms of Aussie yen and New Zealand yen, these guys still a little bit choppy. I spoke about some buys yesterday as we came back into the consolidation. You can see Aussie yen starting to put in some higher lows in. 1, 2, 3. Had the high over there, higher high, and now another higher high. So we overall are getting some bullish structure now. Maybe not the cleanest one in the world, but it does fit the criteria, which is the important thing. So again, with Aussie yen, I think this is a decent place for a buy and swing it back to the high here and probably a lot further. Similar to CAD yen and Euro yen, I'm still looking for a push back to the highs here for the big sell. And Aussie yen is taking its time because it's kind of like in a weird consolidation right now. But as you can see, lovely drop there in July. Still looking at this as a correction of that move for a big continuation. So being very patient there with Aussie yen, but I think at the moment it's looking like a decent buy. So if you're on like the hourly chart, I would say that's looking like a very strong candle close as well in the hourly. That's a decent buy opportunity, I would say. Nice double bottom there, strong candle close, big wick to the downside. Give yourself a bit of room with the stop loss. Could potentially swing it back to the high there at 99.113. Risk to reward looks pretty good. And you might even be able to leave some positions to run back to the high there as well. So I think Aussie yen's looking like a really decent buy right now on the hourly chart. 4 hour is not quite ready yet, but hourly looks good. In terms of New Zealand yen, I would imagine something similar is brewing up right now. So yeah, back into that nice consolidation as well. Of course, this was the consolidation which gave us that swing to the upside to create those new highs. So as you can see, those highs got taken out quite well. Now this is the pullback. As long as we don't break through this low here, so as long as we don't see price snap through that, I will have that bullish bias there with New Zealand yen, looking for a bounce and a continuation back to the highs. That there is very much the plan with New Zealand yen. In terms of the entries, are we looking as good as, yeah, I think Aussie yen looks a little bit better, but it looks like we're trying to get back above that support level. If we close just below it, then doesn't hold as much weight, but it looks like Aussie yen is doing a good job to get back above that area on the hourly chart. Yeah, Aussie yen looks a lot better. And Aussie yen's got more consistent high lows. 1, 2, 3. This could be the fourth. But again, both of them are very similar pairs anyway, so they are looking pretty good. So yeah, with New Zealand yen, I think this is a decent place for a buy. Stop loss below the low, and again, looking for a push back into that area. And the longer term move for New Zealand yen would be a push back to the high over there. Again, looking for the same move and big sell. Impulse, correction, or consolidation, and then eventually looking for continuation. And even if it isn't the continuation, even if it's just another move down, you can still profit pretty well on a move down, even if price is going to put a higher low in somewhere and still push up. We don't have a fortune, a crystal ball. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. All we can do is deal with patterns and probabilities. This impulse correction, impulse is a very common pattern you'll see everywhere in the market. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the beauty of it, when it does work, it does play out with very, very big moves and impulsive ones too. And even if it is just another push down for another correction for price to push up again, we could still very much profit on the move down here and still profit on the move back up as well. So yeah, staying flexible is very important. But yeah, for now, looks like we're holding up. So expecting a push to the upside. Let me check quickly how the JPY basket is doing. Okay, so kind of just messing around, but it does look like we're probably gonna get another sell. So he just about pinched the low there, back in resistance, coming back into this area here. So yeah, it looks like we are going to probably get a nice push down there for the yen basket. So if the yen basket is going to have another move down, that means the yen pairs are going to push up. So pound yen, euro yen, CAD yen, you name it, are likely going to push up. Of course, it does depend on the corresponding strength of which currency the yen is partnered with. So what pound's doing, what euro's doing. But at least we know that yen is probably going to be weak. And we're probably going to see those pound yen, CAD yen, euro yen push up if we do respect this area. But at the moment in time, it's looking pretty likely. I like the rejection on the hourly chart there. It's coming to a nice zone. And then, yeah, if we can respect this level here, we could be talking about some really big buys on the yen basket, sells on the yen pairs, so on and so forth. But yeah, for now, that's kind of really where I'm at with the yen pairs. It looks like we are going to see a bit of a push to the upside for yen pairs, and push the downside for the yen basket. So a bit of yen weakness. Where was I? Anthony, what is up, my man? Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Good morning. Waiting for NFP. Yes, join the club. We are all waiting for NFP. It's going to be interesting to see what we do. I know my bias with USD. It's locked in. I'm very, very bullish on the dollar. I'm not saying that as a buy signal, by the way. I'm not saying go and buy dollar. Absolutely not. I'm not looking to buy dollar right now. If I go take a look at the DXY, we're coming into resistance right now. So now is not the time to be buying whatsoever. Yeah, at least for me anyway. I wouldn't be looking to buy at all. But I know that I'm looking for bullish opportunities. So either price does break to the upside, and then it finds another pullback afterwards. Great. Then these could be some nice buys next week. Or if price was to push back down again, didn't mean to do that. If price was to push back down again and test some of these areas, might see a buy form there, or maybe we have a deeper pullback even. Who knows? We'll see what NFP has in store for us this afternoon. But all I do know is I'm looking to buy unless we take out some major lows, which is this low all the way down there. And I highly doubt we see NFP give us a move that big in one go. Maybe eventually, yes, but not in one go. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with NFP. Rex, what is up? Euro USD, okay, I will go through that for you, no problem. Shadrach, currently on Euro CHF longs 0.9. Okay, I'm currently shorting Euro CHF at the moment. I think I'm in a bit of drawdown at the moment, but we'll see if we can respect resistance because it's coming into some now. But yeah, we'll go through Euro CHF as well. We'll take a look at Euro USD first. And again, if you guys have any other pairs you're looking at, let me know in the chat and we'll discuss. But yeah, Euro USD, with considering that DXY analysis there, I'm very bearish on Euro USD, expecting a lot more downside. We've had a really big breakout on the weekly chart, and as long as we stay below those lows, I do expect us to have a really big sell. Of course, if we were to start trading back inside that range, then I'll reanalyze and maybe change my bias. But for now, I am pretty bearish. So with Euro USD, this is the opportunity I was looking at this week. Unfortunately, doesn't look like it's going to happen. Fingers crossed, maybe USD weakness does send us back up there again. That is a possibility. But at the moment, we're looking, well, at the moment, we're kind of just sideways. But in recent days, we have been pretty bearish. So I wonder if we just consolidate just to drop again and take out those lows. So, yeah, to me, Euro USD is just looking very bearish. I don't really see a good opportunity at the moment. Unless you're looking at this area here on the hourly chart. I think you might catch a nice sell there. Of course, we'll see what NFP has in store because we very much could just blast straight through. But if we push into this area, start to stall, that could be a nice intraday opportunity to ride it back down to the low there. If we do push higher than that, then of course, this is the area I start looking at again, 1.0795. And thirdly, if price was to break the low again, then we could start looking at some pullbacks afterwards, maybe a retest of the low, and so on and so forth. Because I do expect a bit of a trend now to form for Euro, a bearish trend that is. So I'm going to be actively looking for those lower highs, looking for opportunities to keep shorting euro. And as of now, this is the level I'm looking at. Maybe it's a bit unrealistic to expect euro to get there. And if it doesn't, that's cool. I'll wait for it to break the lows, and then we can start speaking about some pullbacks after, maybe next week, when the dust has settled after NFP. But yeah, for now, that's kind of really where I'm at with Euro USD at the moment in time. I'll go take a look at Euro CHF, and then we'll go through. You bought BTC on the retest. Yeah, I think BTC is looking not bad on the retest. I think if you're looking to buy Bitcoin, it's a great area for it. I mean, I'll go for Euro CHF first, then we'll take a look at Bitcoin as well. Why is oil messed up? And what's wrong with oil? I mean, I know it's looking very bullish, but it's coming into a nice level to sell. It's probably not going to hit it today, but it's not too far away from a nice sell. Okay, so let me go through Euro CHF. So yeah, Euro CHF, I did hop back into a position. Currently in some drawdown, I believe. Yeah, in some drawdown at the moment. Looking to anticipate a reaction from that level. So we'll see how that goes. If price does close back above it, then I'll look to exit the trade. I do have my stop loss above the high, but if price does break the level, I can exit early. If it does get back inside the level, I'll look to find some re-entries. But the idea of the trade is that I'm looking for the continuation of these lower highs. The market's been so consistent with all of them. And, oh, that's the wrong tool. And as long as the market can maintain these lower highs, most importantly, this lower high, because this is the last high that gave us that drop, as long as we don't break through that, I do retain that that bearish bias. If price is going to break through and break structure, then I will shift the bias to bullish, and then we can start talking about some bullish opportunities like this. Price has been pretty consistent with the higher lows here, so could see another one form there, and then maybe some buys back up again. So yeah, until we break the structure, I will remain bearish. And like I said, it hop into a trade there. So if we do close above, which looks like we might do, then I'll look for re-entries. If price does break above it, then I'll look to just exit the trade. But yeah, overall, pretty bearish with Euro CHF as long as we respect those highs, and looking for a swing back to the lows and maybe some new lows as well. But we need to maintain that 0.94 level. I'll go to BTC. It said you bought on the retest. Yeah, I think it's a good buy, to be honest. I think it's a really good buy, at least in the location. Of course, we don't know if price is going to hold or not. We'll find that out probably after NFP. But in terms of the location for the buy, I think it's a great place, 92, 93K. It's been such a very strong level of support. I don't know how many times prices come back into this level, but it's rejected it every single time. So as long as we keep that up, there is that possibility that Bitcoin does push back to 108K. So if it does keep pushing, of course, that's great for you. But if it does break through, then I'd imagine you probably hit your stop loss, which is probably underneath the low there, and you'd want to be out the trade anyway, because it probably means Bitcoin's now going to have a big fall. The next big level I've got for Bitcoin is all the way back down at 73, 74K, which is the high back there. So yeah, if it does break that support level, you do want to be out that trade. I would suggest 100%. We want to stay out the way and let the bears do their thing. But yeah, I think it's a great place for a buy. Whether we do see the continuation or not, we'll find out. But I do still see more upside there with Bitcoin as long as we remain above 93K. What's up, Lauda? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Welcome. Hope you're doing good. Rex, Euro pound breaking the high. Euro bullishness coming day, suggesting dollar weakness. I mean, Euro pound breaking the high is a sign that euro is stronger than pound. I wouldn't necessarily look at it as a sign of Euro USD strength. The biggest indication of that would be the DXY. because the biggest governing force of Euro USD is the dollar. Pretty much all the USD majors, DXY holds a lot of weight to, especially Euro USD, maybe not so much Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, but Euro USD, the biggest indication of what that chart is going to do is the DXY. And of course, you could probably group pound USD in that same bracket as well. But yeah, Euro pound breaking the high, maybe it might be a sign that more strength in Euro to come, but it wouldn't be something that I look into with a lot of detail, really. Especially on the dollar weakness part. Euro pound doesn't really have much indication on USD as a currency. So no, I wouldn't look into that. Maybe there might be some correlation there, but nothing major from my experience anyway. LFTJ, do you trade stops 2 hours behind, or how do you do it? I trail my stop loss in terms of risk multiples. So I look at 2R deviations behind current price. So say if I'm in profit like this, say I'm running at like a 4R, then my stop loss will be trailed to 2R, wherever 2R is. Geez, almost bang on the money. So yeah, my stop loss will be trailed 2 risk multiples, so 2 deviations of that behind price to give it its room. But there's multiple ways to do it. You can trail with market structure. You can trail with a pip count, like 50 pips or 20 pips. You can trail with a time period as well. So it's up to you how you want to do that. For my testing, risk multiples do play out pretty well. It's pretty manageable. It's pretty simple to implement as well. And you can mix up. You can mix up as well. You can trail 1R behind. You can trail 3R behind. Of course, the more R's you trail behind, the more fluctuation, more room you have, which means the bigger winners you can get, but also less winners in terms of frequency. Because if you're trailing 5R behind, it has to at least get to 5R before you can book a profit. So yeah, there's multiple ways to do it, but risk multiples for me play out pretty well, and it's very easy to implement as well and manage. Lauder sitting on the hands, wise bets. Yeah, wait for NFP, see what it has in store for us. Yeah, we're going to see what that does at 1:30 UK time. Again, there's no need. If there's nothing on the charts, there's no need to try and force anything. My thought process with NFP and big news events is I don't want to enter just before them, but if I can enter a few hours before, preferably the day before, I'm more than happy to do that. Especially with my trading style and my stop loss sizes, I'm normally always in a trade before a major event. Not because I'm looking to trade the event, it's just because I got a trade signal, and my trades, especially my winners, they do take multiple days to play out. So even if I enter on a Monday and NFP is on a Friday, the chances are if it's a winner, I'm probably still in the trade anyway. So it's hard for me to completely avoid those events. And if you're on the low time frames, you do want to avoid entering just before, because spreads will widen, slippage if it doesn't go your way. Even if it does go your way, it might wick you out first and then go your way. So it's just very, very annoying in that regard. Excuse me. But yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the content, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. If you're finding it useful, informative, educational, please be sure to drop a like. Appreciate everyone who has done so far. It does really help out with the channel, so I do appreciate that. Of course, subscribe whilst you're at it, and go ahead and hit the bell as well so you don't miss out any streams or uploads in the future. But yeah, I appreciate everyone who has shown some love. It does help out. So yeah, in terms of oil, as I mentioned before, yes, it's looking pretty bullish right now, and it's soaring through the sky right now. But I do think the next few daily candles will be back at major resistance, where we could definitely, shouldn't use the word definitely, where we have a good possibility to sell off. I should never use that word. The market is very consistent for all these highs, 1, 2, 3, and we could be seeing a fourth one implement there as well. So if we were to get there, which is around 78, reject that, see some nice healthy reaction on the 4-hour daily chart, I do think that's a really great place to be looking to sell. And as I spoke about previously, risk towards looking really good. If you can get entry up there, and you're looking for the full swing, you could be looking at a really healthy trade back into the lows. Of course, you can choose your own targets, but if you can get it back into the low here, you could be looking at 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, even more as well, depending on your entry. So the risk reward is there with oil, and it fits the mold pretty well. If we are going to continue with these lower highs, there is a good chance it does happen here. If it does go and break through, then I'd have to look at oil again. And I'll probably just look at this as a big range, to be fair. I mean, it pretty much is anyway, but there is a slight bearish trend to it. If we start breaking through that, then this just becomes a big range, and then oil price action is definitely very messed up right now. But at the moment, yes, looking bullish. But I would have my eyes peeled on 78, 77.5 for some shorts, because if we can respect that, I do think we can really roll over. Let me quickly go through some of the indices. Haven't gone through any of them yet. Then I'll go through some of the crosses and see what they've got cooking up. So S&P, again, still kind of just about bullish on this one. Same with NAS and US 30. Not really. I mean, I'll take a look at US 30 in a moment. But S&P has respected support pretty well here. And yesterday on Trader Nick's stream, I was talking about some buys here, which look good, but we have to be careful because each time we do see a move to the upside, the market comes back into an area of supply, respects it, and comes right back down again. As you can see over here, lovely consolidation, price respected it, big sell, looking pretty bearish. We did the exact same pattern again over here. Nice push, respect to that area, big sell. So I said, again, the buys look good here since we are doing a pretty good job at respecting these areas. And of course, the market's still bullish. But watch out for that next bullish move. We very much could come back into the same area. Respect it. Don't know what happened there. And then potentially get another big sell. So you need to watch out for that. Of course, there is a world where we do break through, and you can definitely leave some positions to run if we're to do that, and we can push back the highs and so on and so forth. But equally, as a trader, you got to be careful of where could the opposing move happen from. If you're in a buy, where potentially could the market sell off from, and those are areas where you can look to manage your trades in terms of trading stops or break even or partials, or just get out the trade. That's up to the trader how he wants to manage it, or she. But that is an area to consider. And NAS is doing the exact same thing as well, which is lovely level of support, prices holding on to. But we are forming these lower highs. I don't think we quite tested that consolidation there. We just missed it. But this area we did get into and form another low high from that. So looking like a great place to buy. But again, as soon as we approach this next area, be very careful. We could sell off again and potentially break structure. Overall for NAS, the market is still very bullish. So I'm bullish. As long as we keep up the higher highs and higher lows, I don't see a reason to be short just yet. Of course, if that breaks and we start breaking lower highs, then of course I would look to shift my bias around. But for now, everything is still pointing to the upside there for NAS as well. So in terms of this one, I'll be looking for entries around 2,800, looking for another bounce on that level. But I definitely will look to have some targets around this area here. With that trendline confluence around 29,300. I probably would still look to try and trade it back to the high, because the idea of indices, you're looking to buy the higher low, and the idea is that you're expecting a new high to be created. So I would still look to hold on to that. But if you could look to book some partials here, I think that's definitely a smart play to do, or even exit the trade altogether if the risk reward looks good already. But on the higher time frames, everything is still very bullish here with NAS. US 30, however, I do not like at all at the moment. It looks very, very weird. Price action is kind of consolidating in this area. We just had a really big break of structure on our left here. So if price is breaking structure there, That's not a good sign for the buyers. NAS and S&P are still just about respecting structure. US 30 obliterated that with that. I think that was the interest rates on last about 2 weeks ago. 18th of December was probably 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, close to anyway. But yeah, really strong drop there with the interest rates, and since then the market has been pretty stale. So as I said yesterday with US 30, there could be some nice shorts, but I do want to see price break the low of the consolidation aggressively, and then we can start talking about some shorts there, because at the moment in time we've got a lower low with the break of structure. We've got potentially a lower high. It's not confirmed yet because we haven't taken the lows. But if we do take out the lows, then we've got confirm lower high, confirm lower low again, and then our job is to look for the next lower high for the continuation. And we'll also take out these lows as well, which is also a nice sign of more downside to come. And maybe this would be a great place for a break and retest. Depends on the breakout, but could be looking at something like that in the near future. The same is true to the upside as well. If we do break higher up, then we could start looking for some higher lows to take it back to the highs. But at the moment, the price action is just really kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place right now with US 30. Struggling to break the lows, struggling to break the highs. Let's see which way price breaks. I would very much avoid looking to trade inside of this area here with US 30. Especially if you're going to have your stop loss in there somewhere, because there's a good chance you could probably get wicked out and still see price move in your favor there. So I would really avoid trading in that level, waiting for price to make its move up or down, and then we click to follow that momentum. You know, either which way, we can make profits in both directions. But yeah, US 30 not looking too good. NAS and S&P look like good buys. The DAX, last time I spoke on this, was looking pretty bullish. Still is looking pretty bullish, although maybe it's struggling back at the high there a little bit. But overall, I do think we'll see some new highs form pretty shortly, and probably see price push on from that. So yeah, the DAX to me still a very bullish market. New highs look pretty likely to form. Even if we were to push down, I think this is still a great place to be looking to pick up some more buys. Originally, I was looking for the double bottom there. It never really happened. But should price have that bigger pullback into this area, I still think that's a great place to be looking for some buys, even if we do have a big drop there. But yeah, I do think higher highs are pretty likely. And UK 100, okay, it hasn't really gone anywhere since we last spoke, but I do expect us to eventually break that high on the left. If we're to push back down again, then great. I think that's just another opportunity to pick up some buys and see if you can try and take it back to resistance again. But yeah, overall for indices, I am still pretty bullish. Maybe the US indices are becoming a little bit more tired, but as long as they don't go and break that support level, so as long as S&P doesn't break this support to the downside, as long as US 30 doesn't break this support here to the downside, as long as NAS doesn't break this support here to the downside as well, break this level here, then I remain bullish. If we do, then we might see a bit of a counter trend form for the indices there. So something to keep an eye out on. In terms of the crosses, haven't really looked at them yet. So I did mention Wednesday at the start of the stream. I said it's in some major resistance. So overall, I would have a bearish bias on this one. Not a market which I'm looking to trade to, in all honesty, not something which I'm looking to get involved with. Fits my plan well. So I'm very much staying away from all of that. But if there is some strong rejections here, there might be a nice opportunity to short at a later date, maybe next week after NFP. If we do reject that well, yeah, there is a possibility for a really big sell there. So I would keep an eye out for that for UNZD. Equally with the buys as well. Should we break to the high, then I will be expecting this wick high to be taken up next. So you could look at something like that. With Euro Aussie, it's partner in crime. Not a big fan of this chart at all, really. Again, we've got our major highs up there. Ooh, didn't mean to do that. We've got our major highs up here. There we go. Got your major lows down there. And price has just been dancing in between those two levels for a while now. It looks like price is getting a nice break, and we tested this level here and it is bouncing. Although it's being very corrective, so it doesn't give me a lot of confidence. And because that is such an impulsive move, I do think we actually probably will break through that to the downside. If we stay corrective like that, we do tend to see more continuation. Simple impulse correction, impulse pattern, impulse flag, impulse, probably the most common pattern you'll see in the market. And I would expect more downside from that. So yeah, Euro Aussie, although yes, that major support, it wouldn't give me a lot of confidence to buy, especially with the breakout not being big enough as well. You've only just about broken through the level. Now we're having a very quick retest. Like I said earlier in the stream, those tend to be more prone to fake outs rather than when you get a very confident break of a level and then a pullback. Those tend to work out a lot better. In terms of pound Aussie and pound NZD, I think these guys have been a little bit bullish as well. Last time I checked anyway. A little bit of upside, but nothing much there. Have we broken structure? I don't think we have. Not quite. So yeah, with pound Aussie, pound NZD, we'll go into a lot of detail about these currency pairs yesterday. I did say it looks like potentially we could be getting a big pullback for them. They've been very bullish as of late, but they have taken out some major highs. And as I keep saying, once we do take out these major highs, you need to be very, very careful because these are areas where the market tends to have the bigger pullbacks, especially in FX, but in all markets really. When we do take up major highs, we do tend to see reactions. Yeah, we do tend to see reactions. So it's always a bit dodgy looking to buy straight away after we break a high. Of course, there are situations where we do break major highs and we just keep going, of course. But you want to wait for development before jumping straight in. And especially in an FX pair, which is a bit corrective, you definitely want to be careful. So you can see pound Aussie forming a major high, pullback, another major high, pullback there as well. Now we've just gone and done the same thing there as well. Probably will see another deeper pullback. As I said yesterday, these are our major high lows. 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be number 6. And this could be the pullback that does give us the continuation. So this is really what I'm looking for a bigger pullback. If I whip out the fib from the low to the high, that 0.5, 0.618 area kind of lining up with the high here. This is kind of the level which I want to be buying from probably in like a couple of weeks time. So that's really what I'm looking at for pound Aussie. Still bullish because the trend's still up, consistent higher lows. But at this rate, we're probably going to get a much bigger pullback before looking too long. So I did say on the lower time frames, if we do get break of structure, there might be some nice shorts in the meantime to ride that trend down and look for lower highs in this regard. So we had high over there, lower high, and the lower high there. Look for another short, and then we can start speaking about some longs at a later date. Something like that. Pound NZD literally doing the exact same thing as well. Of course, they're very similar pairs. So I do look at them together, and 90% of the time they're doing the exact same thing. Again, major highs we've taken out. We took out one there. What happened? Strong move up. Price shot straight back down again. Now price is taking out another major high. Again, I do expect to see a bigger pullback. We do have these major high lows. One over there. Second, third, fourth, fifth, and probably going to see number 6 print before that continuation as well. So still looking for the higher lows, still a bullish market. I'm not saying that after we take up these highs, we tend to reverse all the time, but we do tend to see bigger pullbacks because the daily chart needs its pullback as well. A lot of us are focused on those lower time frames, looking for those lower time frame pullbacks, which is great, but need to be aware that the daily chart, the weekly chart, and even the monthly chart needs to have its pullbacks as well. And when we do take out those major daily, weekly, monthly highs, it's a time for the monthly chart to pull back, it's a time for the weekly chart to pull back, so on and so forth. So you need to be aware of that. So it looks like pound NZD might want to have its pullback on the daily chart now. So again, if I whip out the swing from the low to the high, you've got some nice confidence around the 50, 0.618. In fact, it looks like it lines up very well with this high over there. If I drag that across, lines up bang on the money with the 0.618. That could be a nice area where, again, we put that next high low in. As long as we don't break structure, as long as we keep up with these highs here, these lows, sorry. As long as we don't go and break through them, looking for the bounce there as well. So equally, if I drop to the 4-hour chart for pound NZD, equally, I do think there could be some nice shorts. Let's say we break the low here, break the structure, look for the next lower high, shorts back down again, and then we can speak about some longs from that area. Of course, we'll wait for price to get there, wait for price to develop and see how things look there, because who knows, maybe it looks a lot different by that time. But anyway, short-term sells look good. Short, medium term, it's not really short-term. It's still catching a decent move there. Still could be 500 pips there. So it's definitely not a short-term move. But the bigger move anyway, I still expect us to reach those highs again. Just maybe price wants to have a deeper pullback. If I go take a look at Euro Pound, someone mentioned that Euro Pound broke the highs really aggressively yesterday, and yes, we did 100%. Or maybe not yesterday, but I think Wednesday is when we first broke them. But of course, that weakness in pound was really the main theme this week, and that continued throughout Wednesday and Thursday. And we saw a lot of upside, but I'll be looking at more upside for Euro Pound. 100%. I spoke about this quite a lot on the monthly chart. We're trading at some massive levels of support. And as I always say, I'm expecting support to hold until it does not. I'm always expecting support to bounce until proven otherwise. And at the moment on the monthly chart, you can see major support here. Really big bounce to the upside. Again, there is as well more wicks, big bounce again there too. And we could be seeing that happen a fourth time. And we don't necessarily need to see price have a crazy move to the upside for us to make a profit. I'm still looking for my slice of the cake, but I know that, okay, when a monthly level of support, we could turn around here. So instead of looking for sells at these times, especially as a swing trader, I know I can shift my bias, wait for bullish structure to present itself, and take some buys that way. And especially with trading stop management technique, who knows, maybe you do catch a big winner because we are reversing from a massive level. So we did see that momentum yesterday, really impulsive, and it has left behind some really healthy structure here, which looks good for a retest. So if price was to come back down into this level, I think that's a great place for a pullback. If I whip out the Fibonacci from the low to the high, you can see we do line up with the 0.5, 0.618, bang on the money in that level. And you can see we had the lovely double bottom not long ago. We had the high low there. We just went and broke structure. Created a high there as well. So now I do want to see a bigger pullback, excuse me, and then see the upside from there. And if I connect the higher lows, we've got 1, 2, 3, you could argue, and potentially 4 there as well. So Euro Pound is taking my boxes very well at the moment. And the key thing I want to see is impulsive behavior, which we're seeing, which is a pretty strong move here, pretty strong move there. We had some early signs of impulsive moves before as well as we came into the monthly zone. But most importantly, this move here, very strong. It's not like we kind of sluggishly broke to the upside or did it very correctively. It was commanding, strong break. And those are the type of moves I want to follow. If price breaks a level, if price forms a level of resistance or support, and then just about breaks in, it's kind of looking very corrective, didn't do it with much momentum, that doesn't give you a lot of confidence to go and look to follow that move. Yes, we've broken through resistance. We've seen a breakout technically, but that's not something that is worth following. You wanna follow moves that are worth following, and moves that are worth following are moves that have really strong momentum, because you know that, okay, high time frame, bigger fish in trading have got into that move, because retail traders are not going to cause a move like that to happen. We don't have enough buying or selling power, whatever. institutions are what are going to cause bigger moves like that happen. So if you see strength in a move, okay, that's something worth following. And that's exactly what we got here. So if we could get some pullbacks, again, nothing's going to work all the time. But if we do this on average 100 trades, there's a good chance we're going to walk away with some healthy profit. So this is what I'm looking at 0.83200. And hopefully you can get a pullback into that level. Then, yeah, target's pretty much back at highs, but I'll see how far I can take it. I will take partials. Euro pound's not a market which I just want to exclusively trail stops. It's too corrective. It's too choppy. It's probably not a good management technique with euro pounds. Trading stops work well in trending environments, and euro pound is just not a trending market at all. So I will trail loosely, but I definitely will look to secure back at the highs there. And this could be a trade for early next week potentially. If we do see maybe NFP gives us a bit of a bearish move, that could set up Tuesday, Wednesday next week maybe. In terms of Aussie, New Zealand dollar, the last of the crosses. Yeah, I'm still very bullish on Aussie, New Zealand dollar. I'm still looking for a push back to the highs here at 1.115, which is the high over there. That's still very much the plan. I'm still looking to see if I can get a pullback back into the low here for a really big double bottom. We have a lovely trend line. If I connect the higher lows up, so you've got the low there, you've got the low there as well. So it would be nice to see a move back into that zone for the buys, take it back into the high, so on and so forth. That is my number one opportunity. But will we see that happen? Probably at this rate, no. The reason why I still got some hope is because this move here is very corrective. So it tells me that there's not a lot of bullish pressure here. So we could potentially drop now. These ascending channels do normally mean more downside. Although from my experience, Aussie New Zealand dollar does like these corrective channels a lot. And they don't tend to drop as often with this pair compared to like a Euro USD or a Pound USD. But the next best opportunity would be a break of the resistance here, and then looking for a break and retest of that same area for the next higher low. So as we continue with the higher lows in this channel, look to catch the next one after the break and retest. I mean, this level has proven to be a solid level. So if it does flip into support, there's a good chance it does hold. Then you got some really healthy targets there to aim for back at that high at 1.116 and maybe a lot further as well. But this is still my number one opportunity for Aussie New Zealand dollar. Just maybe not likely we're going to see that move there in that regard. But market, I'm still very bullish on this one, bullish on Euro Pound. Looking for opportunities on those pairs. What's up, Kingsley? Welcome to the stream. Thank you. All is well. Hope you're doing good too. Yes, no problem. Euros are, USDs are, Euro CAD. Yes, I will be looking to live stream NFP today. I'll probably go live maybe like 10-15 minutes before, see what happens there. I do have a position on Euro CHF, so that's always fun to see what happens with NFP. I think last NFP I streamed, I was in a Euro USD position. It actually went my favor. And then I did stream Bank of England interest rate, and that went in my favor as well. But we'll see what happens with Euro CHF. But of course, the focus is not the CHF pairs. The focus is USD. But yeah, I will do a short stream for NFP. So if people are free, if you want to watch the NFP with a group of eager traders to see what happens, make sure you tune in. I will put the stream up so you'll see it coming. But yeah, we'll go through your usual Euros are, USDs are, and Euro CAD. So yeah, haven't looked at these guys really since you last asked me to look at them. Okay, so it looks like Euros are did end up holding onto that level of support. This was the last area I looked at. Let me just look at the higher time frames to refresh my memory. Because it's not markets I look at a lot. I mean, in fairness, the only time I look at them is when you request them, Kingsley. But yeah, so definitely still an uptrend Weekly chart, yeah, still looking good. So yeah, overall, with Eurozar, it's still a very bullish market, and the bigger move is probably still likely back to the higher edge, continuing what the market's been doing, historically. But we have been very, very consistent with all of these lower highs here. The market's been doing that for a while now, and still a good chance we could come back into the zone, another lower high, top it out, and drop again. So that is still what could be the play longer term. And of course, we can judge that when we get there. If price breaks through, okay, we're going back to highs. If we hold, then we're probably going to turn around. But yeah, at the moment in time, I talked about some buys last week. Was this last week? Yeah, I think it was 7th of Jan. Was that this week? No, last week. Last week. It just stayed there until this week. But yeah, we talked about some buys on the retest of that high there. Looks like it's playing out pretty well. And looks like we're probably going to push back to the high there on the left, which is 19.67. But as I said, I do expect us to go a lot higher, back into 20.1, into that trend line. And then let me just refine that level because it's pretty wide. I can refine it to this daily wick here. So back into 20.3. Once we get there, then I can start speaking about some shorts again, similar to what USDR did. And then we can start talking about some shorts. But for now, buys look good. So the next opportunity would be the break and retest the high, or if price was to come back down again. I know it wasn't the best break and retest, but the level did hold. If it to push back down again, that'll be the next opportunity. Or if price, of course, has a lovely break of the high, it could be a nice retest there to take it back to the high there. And then we can start speaking about the shorts later on. But yeah, Euros are very bullish at the moment in time. Lovely market structure, lovely retest there. Expect a lot more upside. USDs are. This one, I believe, is already trading at a level. So we had a nice reaction, but looks like price is breaking through. So again, the fact is we took out a major low here, and that looks like that's the catalyst for price to turn around. And again, similar to USDs similar to Euros it looks like we're probably just going to continue the trend back to highs, which is 19.88 and higher as well. So overall, USDs would be pretty bullish on. But as I suggested last week, that I would be very careful of this area here because, of course, we are printing lower highs and we still could print another one there. So I did talk about some shorts last time. I said watch out for that double top, which did form pretty well, and we did get a bit of a sell-off. Just didn't turn to a big one. I think I was talking about targets down here. Didn't quite happen. But yeah, now it looks like we are breaking the highs. So if this is the case, I would be looking at a push back into this area as the next big daily target, because this is the resistance that price formed at the high before pushing all the way and breaking the lows. So this will become the next target on the daily time frame. But the idea is that we're looking to ride this bullish trend here. The market at the moment is just breaking through the highs. I would wait for a more confident breakout, excuse me, before looking for any buying opportunities. So this is the high, which is great. Looks like price is breaking the high, which is great. But I need price to really commit to the upside. And then we can start speaking about some breaking retests. Something like we got here. Lovely level of resistance there. Really strong break to the upside. I know we didn't get the retest, but this is the type of breakout you want to see for a retest. So again, want to see a strong break, look for the retest. And then, of course, looking to ride that to the next level, so on and so forth. But yeah, very bearish there for USDZAR and EuroZAR. And over to EuroCAD. I haven't actually gone through the CAD pairs. I need to go through them. So yeah, in terms of EuroCAD, this one I don't really like the price action. It's just very, very messy. So yeah, I don't really have a clean bias or expectation longer term. Shorter term, what am I doing? I'm on the daily chart. Shorter term, yes, I do think we can see a bit more downside for EuroCAD, and we'll look at that in just a second. But overall, EuroCAD has been pretty flat. So you've got the equal highs over there, You got the equal lows down there, and the market just fluctuating between those major swing points. Recently, price tried to break the high, had a few attempts to do that, failed, had a really aggressive sell-off, and this looks to be the pullback of that move. So really big impulse. This looks to be the pullback of that move, potentially for price to continue back to the lows. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now with EuroCAD. And if I drop to the hourly chart, um, as I spoke about yesterday, it looks like we have come after that double top. So lovely retest of the high there. I mean, we just missed it, but more or less double top there. The market's not perfect. We went and broke structure here on the left with this move here, creating the lower low. And this we're looking to anticipate as the lower high to go and continue breaking the lows. So in terms of an opportunity for EuroCAD, in terms of a good sell, I suggested yesterday that this could be a nice sell on the 15-minute. I retested this area here, and we did get a bit of a sell there. I did say it's not a trade that you're looking to swing and hold for a long time. I did say possibly you can look to target the low here. But if we do drop to the 15-minute, yeah, there was a pretty nice sell there for a few candles before we did bottom out. I think because now price is failing to break through the low, the next best sell in my eyes would be if price was to push back to the high again. If we're to push back to the high, retest that, and then look for the sell back into the low, and then so on and so forth. Because if this is going to be our high, our next lower high, and this is price breaking structure, then the next move after is a lower high and then some more lows. And it looks like we are kind of plateauing a little bit here. So if we can collect some more sellers, back at resistance again, and then maybe that could give us the kick we need to continue. I think that's a great place to position yourself short, not only in terms of a healthy place to short from, but you can really refine your risk there, entry, stop loss, and you could be looking at 1 to 5, 1 to 6, back down to those lows. So the risk reward opportunity there looks pretty high as well. But yeah, EuroCAD, I would be bearish. I'm not a fan of the pair, to be honest. Personally, I'm not really looking to trade it. And simply just because of the larger scale of what price is doing, which is ranging. I try to stay away from markets which are ranging and trading in the middle. I don't mind shorting a high or getting at a low of a range because expecting price to bounce, but I just don't like trading the middle. Too much noise, especially on FX markets. But yeah, that's kind of my take there. In terms of the rest of the CAD pairs, so I looked at EuroCAD, I went through Pound CAD there as well. I said shorts look good as well for Pound CAD too. This one, the shorts even look better than EuroCAD really, so I'd rather focus on this one. But lovely lower highs. We had one over there, second, third, lovely drop to the downside past couple of days. So as I mentioned, it will be nice for a pullback, retest that zone, and then see the continuation. That is what I'll be eyeing up there for Pound CAD. So a retest of 1.78400, push back to the lows, then eventually a push back to this area here. And then if, of course, we take out those lows, then I will look at a shift in that bullish trend on the daily chart, because this is still a bullish structure. This is the last low that gave us the high. So technically speaking, we do need to break through this low here for me to expect a change in trend. And if we do get the breaker structure there, then I'm looking for my lower highs and continuations. In terms of New Zealand CAD, this is the CAD pair which I'm personally interested in shorting. It just is too bearish. Doesn't look like I'm going to get my trade I'm looking for. Again, I like the confluences on the higher time frames. We've taken out some major structural lows. We've taken out that low there as well. Taking out this low here too. So we're taking out very significant daily lows, which tell me there's a greater chance of us expecting more downside than suddenly price reversing. The fact is, if price was going to continue bullish in this trend here, in this manner, we should have been respecting these areas and then expecting a continuation. The fact that price has broken through that low and through this low as well is a strong sign that says, okay, the sellers are taking control, more likely going to see pullbacks and more downside. And the next big target I have for New Zealand CAD would be the lows just underneath us here, which in fairness, we're actually not too far away from. So New Zealand CAD, I would want to see some pullbacks now. As I mentioned at the start of the week, these are the areas which I'm looking for some opportunities. Lovely bearish channel here. As you can see, very consistent lower highs, 2, 3 with that double top. Lovely drop. So as I said at the start of the week, this is where I do want to see a pullback into, to the up end of the channel, retest the highs over there, then hopefully get a nice short back into the lows and so on and so forth. And that would be my area of interest. So unfortunately, hasn't seen that happen yet. Maybe I'm lucky and NFP gives us a big push to the upside for New Zealand CAD. Then I get my entries maybe next week sometime, or maybe we just keep falling to the downside. We don't know what's going to happen. All we can do is just plan for a trade, wait for that trade to manifest, and then if it's give us the entries and ticks all our boxes, we execute and take that trade. Yeah, that's all we can do. So that is what I'm waiting for New Zealand CAD, and Aussie CAD I spoke briefly about as well. Pretty much the same opportunity, except it doesn't have the, what am I doing? I can't type Aussie CAD here. What's going on? There we go. Except Aussie CAD hasn't taken out kilos yet. So, this low here, this wick low is what gave us the high up there. This is still intact technically. So we still could see a move to the upside. I'm not necessarily expecting that to happen. But the sales aren't looking as good because we could still, see that move happen. Whereas New Zealand CAD, we've taken out those lows. Of course, nothing's guaranteed. We still could push up, but I know probability is in my favor there. So if I do see a push to the upside, excuse me, it's most likely going to be a lower high for price to keep pushing lower. So that's going to be my main focus with the CAD pairs. Then in terms of CHF pairs, I'm still shorting Euro CHF. And then New Zealand CHF I still like, but again, until I get out of Euro CHF, I can't look to enter another CHF pair. So even though New Zealand CHF looks pretty good here, if I do get that double top, I will look for entries. But chances are probably not going to get the entry I'm looking for, unfortunately. So, I mean, if you are looking to trade New Zealand CHF, keep a close eye on that. Excuse me, voice getting croaky all of a sudden. But if I zoom out, you can see the consistent lower highs the market has been printing. And if we are printing another one, which looks like we are doing, retest of that low there. If I whip out the fib from the high to the low, lines up very well with the 50 there as well. So there's some really nice confluence here with New Zealand CHF. I do expect another drop. The market is pretty much bearish on pretty much all time frames, monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. So the confluences do line up to the downside. As long as we keep up these low highs, the chances are price is going to keep falling. And then you do have the wick low there to aim for. So yeah, very, very bearish with New Zealand CHF. Expecting a lot more downside. Lauder, can we look at the yen pairs? Of course we can. Any yen pairs in particular, let me know in the chat. I'm still very bearish on the yen pairs, to be honest. Longer term, some I'm actually pretty bullish on in the short term. Pound yen, I am looking for more downside for this one. It looks like we haven't really broke through the lows just yet, but I'm looking for a bigger pullback here. We formed a double top last week, nice move down, another lower high, another drop to the downside. So I am looking for a lower high, then a drop to the downside again. I was looking for the really big double top up here for price to get there and then get the sell. But it doesn't look likely anymore. It looks like we're topping out at this area here. Structure starting to shift. So 196 is kind of my new area of interest for sells. Same targets as always, back down to these swing lows and maybe further as well. But yeah, it looks like pound yen is starting to shift now. So I would be bearish on pound yen, but I think that's more to do with just pound being so weak. It's the only kind of yen pair which looks this bearish, and that's more to do with pound being weak the past couple of days. Because if I go to euro yen, I mean, it's not necessarily looking very bullish, but it isn't looking anywhere near as bearish as pound yen. So with euro yen, I'm still looking for the bigger sell, which is a push back at the high there. I think that's still a possibility. We're still very consistent with all these high lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7. Not confirmed yet because we haven't made a new high, but you can see we're still very consistent with the higher lows. So there's still a good chance that euro yen does push back to 166.671. And then I do get that bigger seller I'm looking for. If not, if we do what pound yen did and just drops the downside, take out these lows here, then I'll look for a lower high somewhere, something like this. Of course, this is very hypothetical, but maybe something like this and then retest of that low, and then so on and so forth. So that would be my opportunity, which of course looks very similar to what pound yen looks now with that pullback opportunity there on the 4-hour chart. So looking at something like that. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with euro yen and pound yen. In terms of CAD yen, I think CAD yen looks like a decent buy. So at the moment, you can see the trend line 1, 2, 3 could be the fourth test. If it does get back above that resistance there, I think it's looking like a decent buy. I'm still looking for the longer term sell back at 111.5. Still my plan. If I go to the daily chart, really big impulse there. Looking at a correction here, and then again expecting another continuation. Just a very generic impulse correction impulse pattern. That's what I'm looking for there for CAD yen. But at the moment, like I said, buys do look good now. I'm not looking to sell just yet, but when we get there, yes, I am. In terms of Aussie yen, I actually think this looks like a good buy. We had a decent close last candle. How has that got on? I was mentioning this at the start of the stream. So yeah, really nice close there on the hourly chart. I said this looks like a nice buy on the hourly time frame. Let's pull back into a really nice area of consolidation. Nice pullback. You can see price pause there. Nice push to the upside. Back at that high low again. If price can hold on to this, I do see another push to the upside. If, of course, we do break structure here, that means we probably, to be honest, if we break structure there, we're just kind of back in a range, really. I wouldn't look too closely into that. What I do like about Aussie yen is that we are consistently forming higher lows, even though it is still relatively choppy. But the higher lows there do mean signs of upside characteristics. So if you can keep that up, I do expect that to continue. But if you do break through, then I'll just look at that as a big consolidation, really. But for now, as long as we can hold this area, looking for pushback to highs, then eventually push back to 102, which again, looking for a major sell. Same idea as the other yen pairs. Big impulse, looking at a correction for another impulse back down again. However, in terms of dollar yen, I'm actually still pretty bullish on this one. Still looking for buying opportunities. This is still the area which I'm looking to buy from. It lines up pretty well with the 50 from the low to the high. So I'm looking for price to come back and retest that zone. And if I'm lucky, I can take it back to the highs. If I'm really lucky, might be able to take it back into 162 up there. So yeah, dollar yen's the only yen pair which is still giving me higher highs and higher lows on the daily chart convincingly. And it's definitely a market which I'm looking to buy from. So expecting a bit of a pullback, but looking for buys overall. I did speak about a nice breaking retest of this high, but doesn't look like it's playing out pretty well. It's still very corrective. If price can break that high a little bit more convincingly, there might be a nice little retest to look into on that same level to ride it back into 161.8. But yeah, overall for dollar yen, very bullish. Expect a lot more upside and probably some new highs at some point. As I said for GJ, I do think more downside is likely. I mean, we're at support right now, so if you're on the lower time frames, I think buys actually look pretty good right now, but I just don't expect them to go too far. Last week I was talking about some buys from that area back to the high. It didn't happen. We got close, formed a lower high, then dropped. But now that we are taking out lows again, so pound yen still at a healthy area of support, where again we could bounce from, but I expect us just to pull back rather than reverse, put a lower high in somewhere, and then continue lower there. So it's still a nice area of support. I still think the buys do look half decent here, but I don't expect us to see the full swing back to the high. I mean, if we do, great. I'm still looking at the shorts there. But yeah, I'm looking at shorts at two areas now. So the high there still 199.729, but more realistically, probably this area there, 196, 196.5. And then yeah, if I do get the shorts, looking for a big swing all the way back down to these lows. And if we do see the impulse correction, impulse pattern, we'll probably get all the way back down to these lows here. So I expect a lot more downside there for pound gem. What's up, Elder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Hello, hello. So yeah, of course we do have an NFP later. That's the main, that's the talk of the town at the moment. What's going to happen with NFP? Of course, I don't have any fortune cookies or a crystal ball that's going to tell me what's going to happen. All I know is that in regard of USD, I'm very bullish, and I'm looking for buying opportunities for the dollar. I'm not looking to buy before the news. I'm not necessarily expecting the news to be bullish for USD. In terms of the technicals, market structure still up. So as long as the technicals remain bullish, I remain bullish. The NFP could push us down, which could just give us a pullback to then buy it later next week sometime. Or maybe USD is going to be bullish with NFP and we break through the highs and then we start talking about some pullbacks afterwards. I have no idea what's going to happen. And very much I'm just going to wait to see what's going to happen. I know what I'm trying to do in terms of USD pairs. I'm very bullish on dollar. So markets like Euro USD, I'm looking for shorts on this one. But of course, I need to see a much bigger pullback. Or of course, if you break the low, then I'll look for some pullbacks underneath. Pound USD, I'm very bearish on as well, looking for a lot more downside. But because we have taken out a major low here, I do want to see a pullback now for pound USD. And 1.25 looks pretty good, sturdy level of support. Now will be flipped as resistance. So I'm kind of hoping to see some dollar weakness really, just to get the pullback going. And again, that's hope, not necessarily what I think is going to happen. I don't want anyone just taking that as a trade signal or something. And then, of course, you got dollar CAD here as well, which again, still looking relatively bullish, really clean trend. I am looking at bigger pullbacks here for dollar CAD, but it's either we break the high, get the retest there, or we have a bigger pullback and look for the buys there, and then pull back that way. And then gold and silver, I don't really like gold, to be honest. Still very choppy. I know it's looking very bullish. Looks like we might push back to resistance, but overall, it's just a very, very choppy pair. And if I go to silver, silver looks pretty good. It looks like it's slowly putting a bit of an uptrend in, but it's taking its time. So I need to see some higher highs, some higher lows in the 4 hour, and then I'll be looking for my entry at some point. I have to be a bit careful of this area because that could still send us down, but we're still a long way away from that forming anyway. But yeah, that would be my main bias with USD, looking for upside in dollar overall. But it would be nice to get some bearish momentum to get a bit of a pullback because we have just been very, very bullish. So we'll see what happens with NFP. I will be live again later today, ladies and gentlemen. I will be live just before NFP does come out. So I'll cover that, see what happens, see what the result is. And then, of course, I will be live every day next week, as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are free, make sure you pop in, say hi. But guys, if you have enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I really do appreciate all you guys who do chat with me, drop likes, share your opinions, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. All that stuff does really help out. So I do really appreciate from that, you guys for doing that. If you haven't checked out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, make sure you go and do that. Link to that is in the description below. And also at the top of the chat, complete free to join. Chat for the traders, including myself. I share ideas there as well. And of course, you can find out a little bit more about Elevating Traders in the Discord. So if you're interested, make sure you go and check that out. Like I said, guys, I will be live again later today to cover NFP. So we're going to see what happens with that together. So make sure you're there. If I don't catch you, have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all in the new week.